Welcome, everyone. I'm Coach Neshi with Shooting School Basketball, and you are watching Meet Your College Hoops Coach. We speak to college coaches to get an inside view of their school and their basketball program. Today, we are happy to have with us Coach Ryan Mee, who is the head coach at Vassar College. Coach has had vast amount of experience at a number of institutions as an assistant coach. His last stop as an assistant was at Davidson College, a very successful Division I program in North Carolina. And then after a number of seasons with Davidson, he came over to Vassar College and now has just completed his second season leading the Brewers. Coach, good afternoon.
Hey, thanks, Coach, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much. Coach, could you give us a kind of a description of Vassar College?
Gladly. Vassar College is just an hour and a half north of New York City. It's the last stop on the Metro North station. So you can go round trip for $38 and off-peak hours and end up in Grand Central and right in Poughkeepsie, New York, which is the city that the college is in. It's a huge campus. So it's 1,000-acre campus. 500 acres is the main plot where the gym, the dorms, and then there's like 500 acres of farm and res life for those that are thinking environmental science or bio. There's a lot of research opportunities out in the farm area. But it's a wonderful place. It's one of the top. I think we're 14th in we're tied for 14th in U.S. News and Report, World and Report, as far as liberal arts colleges and the academic standings. So it's an elite academic institution, an hour and a half north of New York, and the school is made up of 49 states and over 40 countries. So it's a really big, diverse student body.
Wow. And Coach, what are some of the more popular majors that are for the student base overall, and then also what about your team and the common majors, most common for your team? So
when I was picking a school, this was early 2000s, Vassar College, and a lot of people, it was original one of the seven sisters, so it was an all-female school. So I had that kind of stigma of being an all-female school, but not many people know it went co-ed in 1969. So it's been over 50 years of co-ed education. And you know what? It's just getting to the point where teams are really competing now. So the more traditional majors of like biology, psychology, econ, poli-sci, and are really making a push. They're 4 out of the top 5 majors, but theater and art are still very strong in the school. So if you have that passion for more humanities courses, it's a great place. But that's what my job is to let everybody know that there's a ton of the hard sciences and a lot of opportunities to chase any type of major that you want in the liberal arts education.
Great to know, Coach. And coaches, athletically speaking, then speak to us a little bit about your conference.
Okay. In the Liberty League is where we compete. And the Liberty League is made up of New York state teams. There's 10 teams in the conference. We're the furthest south, and we're the most kind of academic school. There's a lot of good schools in there, but as far as the rankings, we're more of like a NESCAC school in the Liberty League, which is fun for us to be able to have more of a national recruiting base than some of our neighbors, which are all good teams. I like to brag on the conference's success this past year. We had 3 teams in the NCAA tournament, and all 3 won their first round games, which was really a good accomplishment before the COVID-19 struck. So RPI won the regular season, Ithaca won the tournament, and Hobart got an at-large bid. So those are teams that have had great histories, and RIT is another school in our conference, and St. Lawrence and Clark's or more in North Country. So it's really it's a fun conference where I've either coached against or was recruited by the coaches in this conference. So it's an amazing competitiveness from the coaching staff down to the players.
Yeah, very. I know it's a very healthy but vibrant kind of competitiveness that takes place there. It's a good thing, and I know that it's great for the athletes and also for the student body.
Yes.
Coach, as regards to your recruiting, what is it about Vassar? You know, I mean, all of us. You know, I spent my entire coaching career at one institution, first as an assistant, then as a head coach. And you know, one of the things I believed in, and I really came to understand and come to terms with, is, you know, all of us have as an institution strengths, you know, and then also kind of things that are, you know, kind of our Achilles heel as regards to the recruiting aspect, things that help us and things that also kind of we have to battle. For you guys, you know, what is unique about Vassar College and can help you in your recruiting against, you know, some of the competitor schools?
Yeah, the unique thing with Vassar is obviously when we're out in the recruiting trail, the first thing we're doing is asking for transcripts and test scores, even though we are test optional in this upcoming class.
Is this new, Coach?
This is new. Because of the pandemic, we are going to be test optional as a trial period. So then we're going to figure out moving forward if we're going to count on those tests again or if we're going to stay test optional. But it's an amazing place. But those are the academic piece of finding kids who can get accepted and be successful here is the first and foremost challenge. But the separating factors of why student athletes really enjoy it, it is the community aspect with 2,500 students. You know, it's a little bit larger small liberal arts college because you have a little bit more than a traditional maybe like 2,000 or under 2,000 school. So the 2,500 students give you a little bit bigger feel, but the student body is incredibly collaborative. This is what I found out. I teach some phys ed classes, and outside of the athletic piece, the students wanted to go to this school to work together, and more so than avoiding maybe some of the higher research universities where the class rank is everything and it's like ultra competitive in the academic side of things.
Right.
That aspect is something I've seen from our student athletes as well as just the general student body, and that really has made an impact on me, and it's an exciting place to be, knowing that they want to work together to get better, and it's a symbol for our team as well.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, being able to identify that type of information, you know, I feel is so crucial.
Yeah.
As coaches, we need to be very, very in step with what it puts you in a position to be successful in your recruiting.
Yes.
You know, we certainly will see the player who could, you know, come in and as a freshman, you know, be a major impact. But, you know, if he's not checking off the boxes as regards to what he's looking for beyond the basketball court in his, you know, college experience, if we become blind to that, yeah, we could be spending a lot of time on young men who in the end aren't going to come.
Right.
You know, and I always felt that we needed to be aware of that. Like, not to say we won't go after that, you know, high caliber student athlete who maybe isn't, you know, we're not certain that we're the right fit for him. We think we might be, but we're not sure. But at least we go in with a mindset that, you know, we're not putting all our eggs in that basket. And yes. if he doesn't come, you know, we certainly have a backup plan. So that's, I think, crucial on your part. It's a great assessment, Coach, and you've only been there 2 years. So
correct.
The fact that you got a handle on that, you know, that's great. That's great. You know, I know, Coach, you talk about, you know, the players or the student body coming from 49 different states. How about the makeup of your team? Where are the players coming from?
Yeah. So when I took over the program, we had 5 seniors graduating, and just the time period of that, when it happened, there was only 1 recruited freshman, because I came in midsummer. So our application deadline is January 1st. So if you don't apply before January 1st, you're not getting in this recruiting class. So that's where it's very important. But what happened is we recruited nine freshmen this past year, and now with this 2020 class, we have 3 commitments. So I mean, it's pretty in depth, and the makeup of our team roster right now is from 10 different states. And we have a student athlete who's from Doha, Qatar, and he played with like the global squad, which is how we saw him, and went to prep school here in the States. But that makeup is where everybody asks, hey, where's your pipeline, or where's your recruiting base? And it's coaches like you, of people that went through it and had to recruit everywhere in the world to try to find the student athlete that could compete here. So it's us finding kids with grades and trying to find them through different exposure options. So learning as much about that is so important.
Yeah. And talking about now, you get these student athletes, and they could be from anywhere, which is exciting. And again, I think that it works, especially when the student body, your team is a representative of what the student body is like. So your players are not, in a situation where it's just them. They assimilate well into the group, because that's how Division III is. So it works. But beyond the talking about where they come from, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the challenges of recruiting as regards to the quality of the players, and what it is that you're looking for. As regarding, I'm evaluating, or your assistant's evaluating over a weekend at a showcase, and what is it that you're looking for in the players that you're wanting to bring into your program?
When we're out there, it's very important, remembering you're always on stage. That was something Bob McKillop kind of always talked to me, the Davidson coach, and he really, we try to echo that through our guys. And that could be, hey, when you're on the bench communicating with your teammates, like, I love watching when a player faces adversity or makes mistakes. How do you handle that? How are you communicating with your coach, with your teammates? Those things are essential for us. Once we get past the point of, hey, can you shoot, pass, and handle at a level where we think you can help us? And those skills are all very important. But as you know, that locker room is essential for success, and the leadership from the team within. As coaches, we can only do so much. And that's what our program is focused on, building it up, teaching you the lessons, and then you guys are making all the plays. So we're trying to give you the framework to be successful in that. But as far as skill-wise, and then being a good communicator, the fun fact, hey, do you make your teammates better? Like, are you able to set a screen for your teammate to get open? Can you hit your teammate in the pocket? Or is it always going up as a shot? And in some scenarios, we had a kid from Augusta, Georgia, scored over 2,000 points, but played on a very bad high school team. And he had to shoot bad shots. Like, that was what you were called to do on in that situation. So it's us being able to understand that. And we had a conversation, Ben, can you be more efficient? And he was excited about that opportunity. So can you make your teammates better? And then the last one is, make every play count. And can you do that as a player? Because that stands out nowadays. To play hard, unfortunately, because people are playing so many games, there's a lot of times where you're just like, I'll get back on the next one. Let me just kind of let this guy take the shot right here. And that's the biggest jump, I think, besides the strength and agility in college, from high school to college, is the sense of urgency. Are you ready to commit to trying to get win that possession. And that's what can really stand out to us.
Yeah, the thing about what you're bringing up, Coach, which I think is something that, players, high school players and, their families and even their coaches, they can't understand because they're not on the other side of it, on the college side of it. But the amount of information that we need to have to make those assessments.
Yeah.
It's actually, I always felt that it was easier to assess. Not that we didn't put a lot of time in assessing the basketball skills and potential, right, of the players that we're looking at, but to be able to, as you put it, so well, watching when a young man, is taken out of a game, and what does he do when he's coming to the bench? Is he interacting with his teammates in a positive way? Is he going all the way down the end of the bench and just sitting by himself because he doesn't want to be out of the game? How is he interacting with his coach? What is he doing during timeouts then? If he's not in the game, is he high-fiving his guys as they come off? How positive is he? That takes time and it takes attention. And that's, what, as head coaches and as we rely on our assistants to be able to get all that information by seeing it, by talking to the people that are necessary. You're not going to hear that from the parents. Nah. I'm going to say, I understand. I know I'm a parent, but, I'm very objective. And, of course, we're going to say, we understand. Yes, you are. A lot of times the coaches can't be as objective as they would like to be. They think they are, but, we need to speak to the AAU coaches, the guidance counselors, right?
Yeah.
You really have to build, a lot of contacts to get that good picture of who that young man is. And I totally agree that that's what's behind, the high measure of success that we could have with these young men who, we are going to spend so much time with. And the intention is that that's going to be over a 4-year period. So I totally agree, Coach. And, I know it's crucial because as I always felt over time, we're spending so much time with these young men. And besides having quality players, I wanted to be around quality people during the season, who, could, add to the group, opposed to always being in a situation where, this one is always kind of pulling in one direction and everyone's pulling in the other direction. So great point. And that's a never-ending responsibility that we have as regards to keeping our program at a level of how we play the game and how we conduct ourselves on and off the court. And then hopefully the success on the court, is a byproduct of all that we do. Coach, as regards to you going through now, 2 seasons here, and we know about the academic reputation at Vassar, and you've been at, good schools, playing at the University of Rochester and then coaching at some finer academic institutions. What can you say to us about kind of assisting your players during the season with the responsibilities in the classroom, and then also taking care of business, on the basketball court?
So just that to help them foster the load you're talking about academically. Yeah. We talk about it in the recruiting process, and then again throughout the season of our time management. It's a challenge no matter where you go, whatever it's going to be. Because instead of having daily worksheet assignments or whatever you did in your high school, it's, hey, can you take care of 2 papers, a midterm and a final? And here's, 12 weeks to get it done. And that's something that is very challenging for an 17, 18-year-old to figure out, oh, wait, I can just go, shoot hoops or play video games and not do anything. So it's trying to get them into a schedule and get out of their dorm room where they can not be distracted. We encourage our first years to get together and have a study hall a couple times a week, just to keep up on the readings, to fight the urge to procrastinate. And that's where you are able to save yourself from those all-nighters, from the, where you're studying in your study groups. But at Vassar, the biggest thing I need to make sure we continuously communicate is you are a student athlete. So remembering that, hey, you have they happened multiple times this year. Coach, I have a job interview. They need it on this date. Is it all right if I, miss practice? Can I get a workout in before? And I said, of course. And this was, both those guys were excused for those interviews, and they landed the job, because that's the benefit of a student athlete, is you learn how to work in a team setting. You're problem solving. You're used to pressure. Not many professions are your successes and your failures publicized. So we're on the stage there. So just talking to our guys and trying to have those weekly updates. And that's something, we fostered in from my experience at Davidson, was trying to have a weekly statement. And it gives me a chance to see the guys, and they get to come in. Hey, did you have any assignments? Did you have, what was your, did you meet with a professor? And that's all on this worksheet that they're able to fill out on a weekly basis. But part of that excuse is just to say hi to them and see how life is going. But, and then that other part, besides anybody I went to a public high school outside of Rochester, New York, and I was like the first boy in my class. I had a 97 average, never had any adversity. I went to University of Rochester, and I got like a C my first semester, or my first exam, and I was like shell shocked. But something with those weekly check-ins is just building that trust between the player and the coach. Hey, coach, I got a C on this one. Okay, do you need a tutor? Do you need to do anything else? And just that communication really helps our program, and just trying to make sure, hey, it's okay to fail. Just let's try not to make that same mistake twice.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about, that contact with our players, extending beyond the basketball court, and them interacting with us in kind of a different environment, I think is so important, right? To give them more insight into who we are, and then also we get some more insight into who they are beyond just bouncing the ball, right? Coach, as regards to during the season and how practice works, I know, in Division III, one of the things is that, all institutions and how they're made up and what works is different. Yeah. So, I've been checking with the coaches about what practice schedules are like during session. So what could you say about your practice? Like, what times do you practice days?
In season, we're fortunate because we have a volleyball team, men and women's, but they have their own gym. So the only teams we have to split our facilities with is women's basketball, which is fantastic because, hey, we meet with the women's coach and we're trying to go. The thing that is tough is just the class schedules. So the beginning of the semester, we get the class schedules from everyone. Hey, this is where we can get a lot of people together. This is good. So we're usually anywhere between 4 and I would say even, 10. Like ideally, we're trying at night. Yeah, like 8 to 10 might be that latest version of where we would go. But that's, hey, there's 2 guys that have a lab on that day, that doesn't get out until 6:30 or something. So we're like, all right, well, we can go that time. But I would like it to have a little bit more, and it's something that we've inquired about. But to have a little more division of the day might be able to help the student athletes and even the clubs and the organizations on campus. But right now, we're all, for the most part, in the afternoon, except maybe if we're going up to Rochester and we're staying the night, we would maybe practice in the morning before we took off because we couldn't get a practice in. But for the most part, we're practicing in the afternoon, evenings.
Gotcha. And what about, is there a specific off day, or does it revolve well, I should say, before games start, is there a
Mhm.
specific day you always take off? And then I know once the season starts,
Yeah.
that off day is going to revolve around your game schedule.
Yeah, I'm still trying to push us for the UAA schedule. I love having the day in between for travel, but we're Sunday off is the most general because we play like an Ivy League schedule where
You play
we'll play
Fridays.
Friday, Saturday, and we'll have Sunday off and we'll get back to work on Monday. And that's what, for the most part, we keep that intact before we play games as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the toughest thing for us at NYU, we, with all the various different majors, the possibilities within the schedule are so many that, we basically, what we started doing was we started coming up with our practice times in the spring.
Okay.
When the guys were registering for class for the fall, because the freshmen had the most flexibility in their schedule. So if we were able to create practice time slots in the spring, basically it would give us time as opposed to last minute, because always something invariably is going to happen. Someone's going to need to switch somebody, and then you're behind the eight ball again. But I totally get it. And for me, in the preseason before games started, we would never take a weekend day off. Like we wouldn't do it because it was so hard during the days of the week, especially Monday to Thursday. Friday there was more flex, but between Monday and Thursday, like we needed to have one of those days where that would be the off day. So we would have to deal with, class conflicts one less day. And then we just would, we would just go on Saturday and Sunday just so that, it would give us everybody at practice. Right.
Yeah.
That's Division III. And I guess it's a great thing if you guys are able to, not have to conflict, because volleyball season, it overlaps, right? So that's certainly a good thing that you guys don't have to worry about that. When you get to the postseason, then, Coach, when the season's over, and now I know you've gone through 2 seasons, this one being a very atypical one, but
yes.
I guess if you speak more to, I guess, what you did last year, what for you, what do you see for your players, in the typical postseason?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We have a varsity weight room and a varsity strength coach. So in our off season, either preseason or after, it's 4 times a week in with Coach Reed, and she's had some great experience. She's been at Williams, at Dartmouth, and at University of Montana, and she's worked with some football and basketball as well. So she's making our team a better athletes, and then it's our job to make you better basketball players. So it's very helpful to have that. So that's 4 times a week, and then they also offer 2 conditioning sessions through that strength and conditioning program, and then we expect our guys to at least be playing maybe 3 times a week if they can get that together, and that's just, we have a really young team, and we need to just keep getting better at playing. The challenge we tell our guys is, hey, can you devote 8 hours a week to make yourself better at basketball? There's 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. Can you, an hour or 30 minutes, 2 30 minutes specs to be able to play? And notice that I said we're only playing for an hour.
Right.
So many guys say, hey, I'm getting back to the lab, I'm grinding it, I'm doing all that. Just get in and out. A workout shouldn't last past 40 minutes. Just get in, exert yourself. A game's 40 minutes long. Make yourself get used to that time period and go all out. So.
Yeah, and as we know, Coach, the off season is the real time where we expect our players to be focused in on, getting themselves to be the best player they can be, so that when we get back to it with them on the court as a team in the fall, now we can take all of our players who we hope are now coming back as better individual players, and make all those individuals into an even better team.
True.
But
Yeah.
a lot of it comes on
in the
them
recruiting process. Hey, is this person self-motivated? Do they have some intrinsic
Oh,
motivation? And nobody can really tell what's inside your chest, but that's so important.
So crucial, Coach, in Division III. I totally agree. And again, it's, you know, I think it's something we want to hear when we're talking to their guidance counselors and key coaches, and we want to hear that they're self-starters and they're highly motivated. So we're listening. I know we're always listening, and those are the kids that, you know, why do some players, and I've had over the years, you know, players who, you know, their best season was their sophomore years. And most of them would never be their freshman year, but I've actually had a couple. But the players that, you know, are getting better year to year in Division III, it doesn't happen automatically. No. You know, in high school, they're used to getting just bigger and stronger and being more physical. And to some degree, you know, that's going to carry them, and their stats are going to be better, or they appear to be better players because they're a little bigger and stronger in high school. But as we know, on the college level, if you don't put that work in, you know, the thing behind it is that your teammate next to you, you know, he's like coming right up your tail, like he's trying to pass you. And, you know, if you want to stay in the position you're in, if you're a starter, you know, in theory, we want all those guys chomping at the bit for minutes, right? Because me working hard makes you better, and he makes his other teammate better, and then suddenly, you know, you're just a better team.
Yeah, that's a message that we constantly are trying to drill into our guys. I hope you come back and take his minutes. You know,
right.
Like if you challenge him and he's ready to accept that challenge, as long as we do it in a good way, that atmosphere makes it just, you know, iron sharpens iron. So we're going to try to get better.
Yeah. Coach, I have one more question. If you can talk to us, and again, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, one of your head coaching seasons or one of the other many seasons you've been an assistant coach, but is there a season that you can speak to us about that somewhat, you know, memorable as regards to the experience that you had?
Yeah. It's funny. I had one of those Facebook memory things, and it was 5 years ago. No, it wasn't 5 years. It might have been 4, but it was my last year at Davidson. We were going to, we were going to the Verizon Center at DC where the Wizards play. That's where the conference tournament was hosted. We were also, my wife was 9 months pregnant with my daughter, Cappy. And so the tournament started on the 9th. So the team was leaving on March 7th. Of course, we went into labor. My wife went into labor on March 7th. And I slept at the hotel that night, or at the hospital that night while the team went to there. And then we went, I flew up the day of the game. We were able to win. And then we won 2 more. And it was the first time ever that Davidson won the Atlantic 10 tournament. And it was great. She woke up. She was welcome into this world with 3 Davidson Wildcat wins. And we were able to go to the NCAA tournament. We were shipped out to Boise, Idaho, and lost to a pretty talented Kentucky team by like 5 or 7. So, but that was the best week ever, welcoming my daughter into the world, getting 3 wins, and being able to go to March Madness. That was something I'll never forget.
Yeah, you might. It sounds like you were on cloud 9, Coach.
Yeah, it was. And there's a lot of other ones that we can all talk about, but that's the most recent for me.
Yeah,
so,
that's great.
And that's my son Trotter. Yeah. Hold on one sec, bud.
Yeah, Coach, this has been a wealth of information you shared with us. I know that this is going to be something that all the young men and their families are going to be interested in taking a look at. I wish you luck, Coach, as you're wrapping up your recruiting. I'm sure you're waiting to hear probably from a few more guys, and only wish you the best going forward. And hopefully in the near future, we can get to see each other again face to face.
I can't wait for that day, Coach. And thanks so much for putting this on. It's been a great honor to be here, and looking forward to seeing more guys in your program.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.